A powerful spiritual force pulsates all around us, offering energy and meaning to our daily lives. If we can meet the challenge of this force, our lives will expand in joy, peace, and fulfillment. The Redondo Beach Center for Spiritual Living and the Ministry of Dr. Moira Fox presents Living Ideas. The power of new thought based on the dynamic principles of science of mind as taught by Dr. Moira Fox. These programs are presented in order that we encompass the mastery of well-directed faith based on the inner conviction that we are surrounded by an intelligent law which does unto each of us as we believe.
And so here we are on this very soft morning, as they would say in Ireland. A soft morning we're having. The mists of Avalon seem to have reached us over here. And it's a good thing. And here we are thinking about something that fits actually the day, don't you think? Something soft and something gentle. Kindness, kindness. So we're looking at this thing called kindness and how it relates to us in our lives. And it's a good thing sometimes to pause and look at it, because it's what the world really and truly needs all of the time, not just now, but all of the time. It's what I need, it's what you need all of the time. I'm not even going to tell you what the dictionary says kindness is, because I know you know it, and I know it too. We just hear the word and we smile, kindness. Kindness is a very deep, deep well that runs through all of life and living. But because it's deep, we have to go deep to touch it at times. Kindness is that which enables us to build bridges in a world that seems harsh and negative at times. And without the kindness that is ours to express and to experience, we couldn't build those bridges. It flows from something that's very primordial within us. It's an original blessing that we come in with, this blessing of kindness. It's in us because it comes from that which creates us, and that which creates us is always kind and thinks kindly in our regard. So this week we're going to ask ourselves to dig very, very deeply so that we can allow those rivers of kindness that are deep within us to flow copiously all over the place this week, coming from each one of us, because it's a holy and wholesome thing to do, even if the world needs it. But see, I need it more, and so do you. To allow that wonderful gift that has been given to you and to me to liberally express itself through each one of us is indeed a great goodness that we can bring to the world, and we can bring it now. And although we know that kindness is a special indication of those of us who are deeply committed to spiritually unfolding, we're not always demonstrating it. It's not always evident, flowing through us or coming from us, indeed. So when we look at it, we see that kindness has soft eyes, it whispers compassion, and it echoes goodness. It has a gentle touch. And we have to discover that within ourselves. Kindness illuminates that which is complex, rich, and different, and it recognizes it as itself. Kindness knows itself in all things, in all beings, and welcomes itself in all things and in all beings. And it's something that perhaps we haven't pondered sufficiently in our own lives in order to heal what we need to heal within ourselves and outside of ourselves. And it's only through loving kindness that we get to do that. And so, how then can we come to the deep desire to touch that well of kindness within ourselves and to allow it to reveal itself through us, each one of us, in the face of so much anger and so much fear within ourselves and within our world? Because there wouldn't be so much anger and so much fear out there if it wasn't first in here. And sooner or later, you and I are going to have to come to terms with that. It's not out there. It's here. Here it is, alive and well, anger and fear. And it's what drives us crazy and gets us into all kinds of trouble. And it's what stops us and blocks us from being our loving, kind self. Scripture says, where is love and loving kindness, God is sure to dwell. Where is love and loving kindness, God is sure to dwell. There's no doubt about it. The presence of God in the face of love and in the face of kindness. And thankfully it shows itself in all of the darkest of places. And kindness has always triumphed over mercilessness. Always. No matter what. It always has. It's why Shakespeare says, the quality of mercy, the quality of kindness is not strained. Can never be strained. It's the truth of us, it's who we are, it's what we are, and it will out itself sooner or later, no matter what. No matter what. There are no waters that can quench it, there are no floods that can drown it. There it is deep within us, an everlasting, permanent well bubbling up deep within us. So we have to find a way, in spite of the anger, in spite of the fear, to allow that which is the truth of our being to be the primal aspect of all that we are, and to have that in evidence in our lives most of the time. Most of the time. And eventually, when we do embrace that blessing of kindness that each one of us is, there will come a day when there will be no more anger and no more fear within us. And when that happens, there will be no more out there. Out there. So, as we move ahead in the unfoldment of our lives, we look to how maybe that can happen. And from what I have learned in my life and in the lives of others, I can see that that experience of revealing kindness flows out of a humility and a generosity of spirit. And that humility and generosity of spirit can only come through one source, as I know it. And that is through understanding and realizing that I am always in the presence of good, and good is always in the presence of me. I'm always in the presence of life with big L, and life is always in the presence of me. Or I could say I'm always in the presence of God, and God's presence is always in me. However I wish to say it. And the only way for me to overcome the darkness of fear and anger is to remember that I am in the presence of something greater than myself, and that presence can always return me back home to the truth of my being and the realization of what I am in truth. And it's not my bad behavior. It's not my ugly thoughts. It's not my terrible feelings. And it's not my wrongdoing. That's not who I am or what I am. What I am is an emanation of the divine, within me all of those amazing attributes of spirit, wisdom and understanding and counsel and knowledge and goodness and kindness and love and light and life and peace and beauty and power and joy. That's the truth of my being, whether I choose to live from it or not. That's the truth of my being, and I don't always choose to live from it, even if it is unconsciously. So all I can say to you, I'm not lecturing at all ever here. I'm talking to myself. And I know some of myself is reflected in you. And you and me. You know, so all I can remind myself of is that somehow or another, Missy, you can do it. Somehow or another you can overcome. Somehow or another you can be the truth of your being in spite of whatever incomparable things seem to be in the way of that. No matter how many of the mistakes you've made, no matter what, you can still be the truth of your being. And I know that. And I've been endeavoring to do that since I was 4 years of age. Not always successfully, there you are. Others can just wake up and do it instantly. I've been endeavoring to do it since I was 4 years of age. Sometimes I do it very well and sometimes I don't. But I've learned this, not to be concerned about it, not to be concerned about the outcome, because I do know sooner or later I'm going to wake up and I will be the fullness of my being in expression now. Not because of myself. I've tried it on my own. It doesn't work. But because I do, if nothing else, I do have a conscious, deep connection with my source. And that sustains me. That helps me every single time to get up and keep going. To get up and keep going, no matter how weary the journey at times seems to be. Get up and keep going because you can. Because you must. Because you're driven. Because of the impulse that keeps pushing you ahead of yourself, in spite of yourself. There is one thing I know. I don't really want to add to the gloominess of life and living. I don't want to add to the darkness. I don't want to add to all of the fear and the anger out there. I know I don't want that. But then there is what St. Paul says, that which I do not want to do, I do, and that which I really want to do, I don't do. You know, he says that the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. We have to understand that too. But the key is not to be put off by mistakes that happen, but to get up and keep going and know I won't make that mistake again. I may make other mistakes, but it won't be that one. And to know that there's something impelling us, there's something within us that keeps us moving, that keeps us moving, that keeps us going, that keeps us forward looking, and keeps our gaze high. No matter how low we may fall, our gaze is high. So I'm asking us all to make a special endeavor this week, in the face of all the unkindness that prevails around us and about us, and even that flows from within us, to stand tall and strong and to be what we can be, that original blessing of the kindness and the goodness and the compassion and the mercy that lies within the heart of each one of us. It's what we ourselves need to be in the world. And not to be thinking about it in terms of getting it, but to be thinking about it in terms of giving it. Mother Teresa said to all her people who came to help, if you cannot show up and if you cannot help, if you cannot serve with goodness and kindness and joyfulness, don't do it at all. Go home. That's what you say. Go home. If you can't do it this way, go home. We don't need you here. What we need here is a generosity of spirit. Those that want to give without counting the cost. Those who want to fight without heeding the wounds. Those who want to love without being loved in return, and so on. It's hard. It's very hard until you love yourself enough that it is enough, and that you don't need it from out there, because you love yourself enough, because you know you have been first loved by the creator of your being and the lover of your soul. And I could tell you endless stories of acts of kindness, and you could tell me the same. You could tell me about your own stories of how kind you were at times, and how other people were kind to you at times. And that's so revitalizing and renewing and life-giving, is it not? And so what is it with us when we can't even talk to each other without all of this going on? What is it? We get together, one, in a good cause, for a good reason, for a good purpose, to do something good, to serve, to show up to serve the good. And we're shouting and bawling and laying down the law and shaking our fists and banging on tables. These are the good people who come together to serve and love I'm talking about. That's us. Same thing at home under our own roofs. We show up in loving kindness and we just want to lay down the law. Now you know when you lay down the law, there's not much kindness going on. There's not much understanding. There's not much compassion. There's not that sense of understanding the richness, the beauty, and the grace of that which is different. That which is different. Unity in diversity. We just don't seem to get that, do we? We come together full of our own ideas. We lay them out on the table expecting everybody else is going to feel the same way about our ideas as we do. And so of course they're going to be picked up and responded to immediately. Not understanding that as soon as I put an idea on the table, it belongs to everybody. It's not mine anymore. It may be picked up, it may not be picked up, and if it isn't, it doesn't matter. Here we are, a loving community, a community committed to love and loving kindness. And yet, we can't get on with each other at times. Why are we surprised that the world out there can't do it? Here we are, a loving family. We come together as a loving family. Adore my family, nothing I wouldn't do for my family. I'd die for my family. And look what happens within the family circle. Come Thanksgiving, come the holidays, when we all get together. I mean, there is that wonderful movie out there called The Holidays or Thanksgiving or something, and it's an amazing movie. I like to watch it once in a while. And by the time Thanksgiving is over, they're about ready to kill each other. To kill each other. What is it within us that won't allow us to really fess up to our family and say, you know what, you're quirky, you're odd, but I love you. I don't know how you fit into this family. I don't even know if the right baby came home, but you know what? You're family and I love you. You're as odd as all get up, but you know what? You're my brother, you're my sister. I love you. It's the family sometimes that you feel most estranged within your family. And especially if you're away from home and you go home after a while, a long time, you go home and you say, who are these people? Who are these people? I belong here, this is my family. Who are these people? You see. And they're not the same people they were when you were little in there milling around with all of them. So I'm asking us all this week to give it a shot. And the way we're going to succeed in being loving and kind and compassionate and aware this week is by first turning that in on ourselves and having soft eyes with ourselves, a gentle touch with ourselves, a warm feeling about ourselves. And it's only going to happen when you know that that's because You have a creator that created you out of love. You have a creator that is on your side, that loves you, guides you, guards you, gives to you, provides for you, and that wants you to succeed, that wants you to express yourself and to flourish and to thrive. It's the only way you're going to do it, is to know that presence that you can call upon when you want to be your mean, bad self, when you want to lay down the law, when you want to give people a piece of your mind, when you feel so self-righteous, when you feel so aggrieved, when you feel so neglected and so underappreciated and all of that. No one can give you the kind of appreciation that you need if you're needing it. No one can give you the kind of appreciation that you need if you're needing to be appreciated. No one out here can. That has to come from within yourself, from your own self-awareness of the beauty and the grace of your being, of you understanding that you're the beloved of Spirit, of you understanding that you are the apple of God's eye, of you understanding that you are an original blessing, uniquely yourself, through Spirit expressing itself uniquely through you. By you knowing that God thinks there's no one like you at all, and that you are indeed that very special beat in the heart of God, without which God couldn't be God. That's what each one of us needs to know, and be satisfied with that. Feel okay with that. And then from that, with a hop, skip, and a jump, go out there to be that. And every time we're tempted to go into fear, every time we're tempted to be angry, whether it's with ourselves or somebody else, to remember what is in us, what is loving us, and what that thinks of us, and begin to think the same of ourselves and feel the same about ourselves. It's the only way it's going to happen, my dears. If you and I cannot do this one breath at a time, one step at a time, one thought at a time, one feeling at a time, one decision at a time, one breath at a time, my dear ones. We've got to do it amongst ourselves, here amongst ourselves. If we cannot find love here amongst ourselves, kindness here amongst ourselves, we are not going to find it anywhere else. And here's where we must find it. Now, are we on to be the kindest that we can be all through the next coming week? Yes. We are on. Yes. We are on to be that real river of life, because that's what kindness is. It's enlivening. It gives life wherever it is. So you and I are going to go out there into this world this week, and we're going to be the essence of kindness, which has patience attached to it, understanding attached to it, which has wisdom attached to it, which holds good counsel when it comes from knowing how to be in other people's company and how to serve from loving kindness. I can assure you, if we can succeed in this, we will be a healing balm within ourselves, for ourselves, and within all of the life around and about us. And I know that this is what we are committed to this week. I am knowing it so deeply for each and every one of us, because I know we won't be able to do anything less than that. That's why we are here. You are here to amaze yourself and no one else, and know that you are indeed amazing, amazing, amazing. So namaste to each and every one in this room now, knowing we go forward to be the love in the world, the kindness in the world that we know we can be. And so it is.
invite you to experience Dr. Moira in person on Sundays. Our services are at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m., and childcare is available. Please join us. If you enjoy these messages and would like to make a donation to our center, please visit our website at redondocsl.org. Thank you for your support of this ministry.